President Bola Tinubu has sacked the 6 managing directors and director generals of parastatals in the Ministry of Aviation and Aerospace Development. This was contained in a statement on Wednesday by his special advisor on media and publicity, Ajuri Ngelale. The affected directors include the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, Nigerian Airspace Management Agency, the Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau, Nigerian Meteorological Agency, Nigerian College of Aviation Technology, and Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority. The managing directors of the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, Kabir Yusuf Mohammed, has been removed from office and replaced with Olubumi Oluwaseun Kuku as the substantive managing director of the Nigerian Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria. Managing Director of the Nigerian Airspace Management Agency, Tayyib Adetunji, has been removed from office and replaced with Engineer Umar Ahmed Farouk as the substantive Managing Director of the Nigerian Airspace Management Agency. The Director General of the Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau, Engineer Akinola Olateru, has been removed from office and replaced with Alex Bade Jr. as the substantive Director General of the Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau. And meanwhile, the presidency on Wednesday said the suspended Director General of the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, Captain Musa Nuhu, will be probed by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. Presidential spokesman Ajuri Ngelale, who disclosed this in a statement, said Nuhu's suspension will enable the anti-graft agency beam its anti-corruption searchlight on the NCAA. And the Rivers State Commissioner for Justice and the Attorney General of the state, Zacchaeus Adango, has resigned his appointment as the State Commissioner of Justice. Adango, in his letter of resignation dated November the 14th, 2023, was addressed to Governor Sim Fubara, citing personal principles. The resignation of the commissioner comes on the heels of the demolition of the State House of Assembly at the instance of Governor Sim Fubara and the presentation of the State Appropriations Bill by Governor to 4 members of the State House of Assembly, led by Edison Ehie. And in another twist, the ongoing political crisis in Rivers State, the Martins Amawele-led Rivers State House of Assembly convened a sitting on Thursday after the demolition of the Assembly complex by the state government. This group held a plenary session at the auditorium of the Assembly quarters on Aba Road, despite a restraining court order. The sitting by the group came just a day after the 5-man group led by Edison Ehie declared vacant 27 seats of lawmakers in the Amawele group for defecting from the People's Democratic Party to the All Progressives Congress. And during Thursday's plenary by the group, the lawmakers condemned the demolition of the Assembly complex by the state government. And in total, there were 28 lawmakers in attendance, even as the group decided to use the auditorium at the Assembly quarters for their legislative sittings going forward. And the acting governor of Ondo State, Lucky Ayedatiwa, has urged the people of the state to embrace unity, even as they return the state to the path of accelerated progress. Ayedatiwa stated this on Thursday morning during a state broadcast on his assumption of office as the acting governor of the state following the transmission of power after Governor Akeredolu's departure on medical leave and the ratification of the move by the State Assembly. The acting governor urged the people of the Southwest state not to relent while calling on prayers for the quick restoration of good health and strength to the ailing Governor Rotimi Akeredolu. The Nigeria's Labour Congress has kicked against the proposed plans by the federal government to restructure the transmission company of Nigeria. In a communique signed by the president of the NLC, Joe Ajero, the organized labour says the proposed privatization plan of the TCN will portend great danger to the power sector and hold great fear and trepidation for major stakeholders within the sector. Ajero says the intended power sector policies will create the same mistakes that past administrations made and would create deeper consequences if power sector policies are not reversed by the federal government. The NLC president added that the decision imperils the ability of the state to control, always regulate, and guarantee the safety of the nation's grid system. The Ekiti State Police Command vowed to arrest the perpetrators of a bank robbery in the Ikere-Ekiti area of the state. Robbers had attacked two new generation banks in Ikere-Ekiti on Wednesday evening, carting away an undisclosed amount of money with 3 persons feared killed. In a statement after the incident, the police spokesman in the state, Abutu Sunday, said the Commissioner of Police visited the scene of the robbery incident at Ikere-Ekiti for an on-the-spot assessment. The police spokesperson said tactical squads and soldiers deployed to the scene engaged the hoodlums who abandoned the 3 vehicles and 2 motorcycles before they fled to the bush. The police enjoined anyone with useful information concerning the identities and whereabouts of hoodlums to contact the police. The commissioner commiserated with the family members of those who were fatally affected and wished those currently receiving treatment in the hospital a quick recovery.
Sorry, machine. Ọmọ kẹrẹ wà nínú ọdún. Ọmọ kẹrẹ ni ọmọ kẹrẹ olóyè burúkú. Àwọn gba machine yìí o. Àwọn ti gba machine. Wọ́n ti kọjá lọ. They don't go. Ọpẹ́ wù. Wọ́n ti ṣetán. Wọ́n ti rọ́ọ̀bù báàgì tán. Bàbá wo mọ́tò yín. Ọmọ pọ̀ Jésù o. Ọmọ.
And members of Tudun community in the Igabi local government area of Kaduna State have dissociated themselves from a legal case instituted against the federal government following the accidental bombing in the area that killed over 100 residents. The community members made their position known at the Sakashim Ibrahim House, Kaduna, during a meeting with the state governor. The report.
Report had hit the media space on Wednesday that some individuals have instituted a case against the federal government demanding 33 billion naira compensation on behalf of the community and victims of the attack. However, the villagers who were at the government house distanced themselves from the lawsuit.
On behalf of the Tudunbiri community, I am the imam of that community. Would not give mandate to any person in this country in order to get any allegation to the government. Whoever do that, he's not from us. We doesn't know him. He's doing it with not our permission. So we urge the Kaduna State government to find out that person, please, to take necessary action against him. So we distance ourselves with that person that's trying to bring confusion into our community.
We heard it, but I assure you, we are not involved in the lawsuit. Besides, we are living in peace with one another in the community. Governor Obasani addressed members of the community and reiterated government's commitment to the protection of lives and properties.
And I want to emphasize the community have already insisted that we have to investigate the whole situation, and whoever is found involved must be dealt with. And as a government, we will do that.
Governor Sani assured that funds realized from pledges made to support the victims will be used judiciously.
Will only be involved to ensure that all the donations reach the right people. Whatever we're doing as a government, we're doing it with our money. But those donations and contributions will go directly to the families of those that lost their lives and those that are in the hospital.
The community also appealed to the federal government to create job opportunities for its teeming youths. Bella Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
The Defense Headquarters says it has opened an investigation into the December 3 accidental bombing of Tudunbiri community in Kaduna State, which claimed over 100 lives. The Director Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, in an interview with Punch newspaper, said the investigation panel had 8 senior officers. And this was at the leadership of the Tudumbiri community in the Gabi local government area of Kaduna State disowned claims that the community had filed a 33 billion naira lawsuit against the federal government. This development is coming after public outcry over the incident, with stakeholders calling for full-scale investigation into the bombing incident. And you're watching News Update on Trust TV. Coming up after the break, we take a look at the impact of Nigeria's declining reading culture on national development. And more news when we return. To stay tuned.
Human beings know what is right. If they don't want to do what is right, they will give you 1,001 reasons why they are doing the wrong things.
They see themselves as conquerors, and other people have been conquered.
When the opposition and the press keep parroting that phrase, government has failed, but we will not be here, hold on, we will not be here, sitting down here, if government has failed.
There has been almost a total collapse of the security outfit, and the terrorists are taking advantage of this.
On that, a country that has about 923 square kilometers of arable land, not more than 2.5% has been cultivated.
Of course, you, the Nigerian citizen, will also have your say via our phone-in numbers on your screen.
The issue of appointment in Nigeria has become more political than doing the right thing for the country.
We started manufacturing leather since 1958. But the most important thing is that if the system is checked correctly, we won't have where we are now.
If somebody has depression, they may just be very irritable and unproductive in the office. So you find on average already about 1 in 4, 1 in 5 Nigerians already have a mental illness, a mental health condition that needs some form of attention.
No matter how good an economy is, if the federal government goes bust, believe me, everything in the economy is just a matter of time it will go bust. So first of all, about maybe slightly above, below 70% is in federal government securities.
If government has banned importation of fertilizer and states are doing it at the level of governance, but I believe that production and distribution of fertilizer should be left to the private sector.
This is the general multi-purpose card, and it has a chip here. So this chip is about 80 kilobytes. The one that you get from the bank for ATM is just 4 kilobytes. So this is like 20 times.
Welcome back, and you're still watching the News Update on Trust TV. Here is a recap of the top stories. President Tinubu reshuffles leadership of aviation industries. And Rivers Commissioner for Justice and Attorney General resigns amidst political crisis. Federal universities, polytechnics and colleges of education have been taken off from the integrated personnel payment system platform of the federal government. The exemption approval reached during the FEC's meeting at the presidential villa in Abuja on Wednesday comes as a relief to tertiary institutions across the country who have campaigned against the initiative. The report.
The Minister of Education, Maman, who disclosed this while briefing State House correspondents alongside other ministers on the outcome of the FEC meeting, ordered that the action takes immediate effect. According to him, FEC also observed that vice-chancellors of universities didn't need to abandon their work to come to Abuja to process the salaries of their personnel.
vice chancellors, rectors, and provosts of college of education, those managing the tertiary sector in Nigeria, have been complaining about having the subscription to IPPS. You know what IPPS does? And which has made recruitment and many other activities of the university relating to personnel very, very difficult. Now today, today's council, it has been decided, the president has directed that vice chancellor should no longer or have been taken out of that service.
The federal government in 2006 introduced IPPIS as one of its reform initiatives for the effective storage of personal records, saying the move would improve transparency and accountability. Earlier, President Bola Tinubu had sworn in Musa Aliyu as substantive chairman of the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, following his confirmation by the Senate. Others are Natu Abdullahi, Shehu Aliyu, Rukayat Odekunle, Sarah Soson, and Festus Oyebade. The president personally administered the oath of office on the new appointees, whose appointments were recently confirmed by the Senate in accordance with the provisions of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended.
Reading books can broaden an individual's understanding of the world around and help build the knowledge base and capacity of individuals. In Nigeria today, reading for leisure or educational purposes continues to be on the decline as illiteracy rate rises across the country. Jimiat Zande samples the views of residents in Makurdi on the phenomenon.
There's a famous saying that goes, if you want to hide something from an African, put it in a book because Africans don't like to read. This statement, although sad, is unfortunately true to some degree, looking at the current state of affairs in Nigeria. Nigeria has been rated by the World Culture Score Index as one of the countries in the world with the lowest reading culture, while available statistics from National Commission for Mass Literacy, Adult and Non-Formal Education shows that 38% of Nigerians are non-literate, as 4 in 10 primary school children cannot read for comprehension.
Children today, unless they are in school, most parents do not prioritize their interest. They do not own their interest in books. We had this time where our parents had this shelf. I always like to describe the shelf because it was a symbol of the reading culture back in the days, and it did us good. All the grammar that we speak today wasn't from university, wasn't from college, it was from that young when we interacted with the book. So yes, we need to do something about the reading culture.
Structural challenges linked to inadequate infrastructure like libraries, quality education programs, as well as socio-economic factors like poverty, insecurity, and inequality play a significant role in compounding the already critical situation.
Because children love imitating the adults, and because the adult, as a result of the economic hardship, people are pursuing money, and the interest is not there. And as the children too, they are also imitating their parents, and as a result of that, this decline in reading. So, if the adults start to take interest in reading, the younger ones will start imitating them. The society will become better.
With Nigeria's education system in limbo, many are advocating high-quality parenting to mitigate the gaps that will help boost the literacy level of the next generation, as well as improve Nigeria's standing on reading culture.
Reading culture among students and even the children generally in Nigeria is dying out gradually, and we teachers and schools owe it to duty to make sure that it doesn't die. by encouraging our children to pick read, even from whatever age they are. From the kindergarten, children can begin to do something, picking ABC, put it together, read one or two little words, and that. By the time the child grows, become a good reader of any book he or she picks onto it.
The socio-economic benefits of reading books can have far-reaching impact on one's life. As the most populous black nation in the world, Nigeria cannot afford to have a significant part of its population unable or unwilling to read. The unpalatable development is counterproductive to the growth and development of the giant of Africa. Jimmy Azandi, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
And the World Bank report has indicated that Nigeria's poverty level has taken a notch higher at the backdrop of the recent economic and fiscal reforms. The bank said the policies have created intense pressures on cost of living, which have pushed more Nigerians into hardship, with 104 million now living below the poverty line. The key reforms include the removal of petrol subsidy and foreign exchange market rate restructuring. The bank, however, commended the federal government for what it considered bold reforms necessary to rescue Nigeria from fiscal cliff, describing the current pains as temporary. And away from Nigeria now, the Senegal court has ordered jailed opposition leader Ousmane Sonko to be reinstated on the electoral register, a ruling that could pave the way for him to run in a February presidential election, Sonko's lawyer, Sir Clédor Ly, said on Thursday. Sonko has faced the flurry of court cases over the past 2 years over charges including libel and rape, which he denies. The cases against him have triggered deadly violence in the West African nation. Sonko, who is 49 years of age, was declared of rape in June but sentenced to a 2-year jail term after a court found him guilty of an offense described in the penal code as immoral behavior towards individuals younger than 21. He was arrested in July for insurrection and was struck off the electoral roll, a decision that potentially ruled him out of the February vote. Sonko came third in Senegal's 2019 presidential election, and he is seen as the main opposition challenger in the race to succeed President Macky Sall. And in sports news, the 8 teams that dropped from the Champions League into Europa League this season have been confirmed. All clubs that finished in 3rd place in Europe's top-tier competition automatically go into the Europa League. The teams are Galatasaray, RC Lens, Braga, Benfica, Feyenoord, AC Milan, Young Boys and Shakhtar Donetsk. They all go straight into the Europa League knockout round playoffs. The Europa League playoffs involve 8 seeded teams taking on 8 unseeded teams. The winners will qualify for the round of 16, where the 8 groups winners await. And with that, we've come to the end of News Update on Trust TV. Do well to follow us across all the social media platforms for more news, programs, and documentaries. My name is Chiamaka Nendu. Thank you for watching.